For our base for the fruit tarts, we're going to make a simple short crust pastry like we've done many times before. 120 grams flour, 60 grams butter, but we're also going to add a teaspoon of sugar to give it a bit of sweetness. Cut your butter into smaller cubes, rub it in using fingertips. And we're going to add some very cold water. Let's do 1 tablespoon at a time. Squeeze it together, see if you can form a dough. If not, another tablespoon of water. Knead it, but only very lightly for about 10, maybe 20 seconds. Otherwise your pastry will be really tough. Lightly flour surface, bit of flour on your rolling pin. Then you roll this out to about 3 millimeters going from the middle to the edges. Now, of course, if you've got chopboard pastry, then you can skip all these steps. Now we're going to add a tiny bit of oil to our tin to grease it. Make sure you also grease the sides properly so your cases won't stick. And cut pastry circles. When you push these in, try to do it evenly, and then you can avoid having any bumps like that on the side. Prick these a couple of times with a fork. And now we're going to do something called blind baking. So we're going to bake these on their own without the filling in the oven. Baking paper squares. So you can put this on your tin, and you can either cut it out straight away, or if you need to, just draw a line on the paper. These out. Then we're going to crumble this paper up. Because when it's crumbled up, it makes it easier to fit it into your pastry cases. We need to just make sure the paper's weighed down. Now, you can use something called baking beads, which is special ceramic beads to go in there, but you can also just as easy use a bit of pasta, or some beans, or some lentils. Okay, and that goes in the oven till it's golden brown. So let's have a look at our cases. Now, obviously be very careful not to burn yourself. I want these to be nice and golden brown. I'm going to give them a little bit longer just to get a bit more color. Okay, it's been about 15 minutes. My cases are out now. Obviously got to let this cool down a bit. And the cases should be just slightly golden brown. Now, to make our custard, we're going to heat up our 300 milliliter milk. And we're going to bring it just about to boiling. Stir it now and then. Teaspoon of vanilla extract in there. Or if you're using vanilla pods, you slice them open, scrape the seeds out, and then you put both the pod and the seeds in your milk. Meanwhile, separate 2 eggs and put the egg yolks in a large glass bowl. Careful that your milk doesn't start overheating. Then add a teaspoon of corn flour to your egg yolks, a tablespoon of sugar, and then this you're going to whisk until it is pale and fluffy. Right, so when your milk is starting to froth and bubble, then it's about right. And you take it off the heat, put it to the side. Now that this is light and it is fluffy, I'm going to add my milk to it little bit by little bit. Then I'm going to give my pan a quick rinse. Then this goes back on the hob. Pour my mixture in. Then I'm going to put this on a low heat, about a 5, because I don't want it to get too hot and my egg to scramble. Then I'm just going to gently Keep stirring it, and this is going to take quite a while to then thicken. Right, here we can see it's starting to look a bit more smooth, and it's slowly getting a bit thicker. Be very patient with this. It's going to take a good 10 minutes, maybe longer, but you don't want to rush it or put it too hot, because then your custard's going to be lumpy. And there is our custard. So you can see it's thickened, leaving slight tracks. And now we can let this cool off. And now for our arrowroot glaze, we're going to use this sachet. And arrowroot is a starch, so much like corn flour or flour, it's going to thicken. Add this to your saucepan. Mix it with a little bit of your juice. Then put this on a medium heat. Add the rest of your juice. Then you're going to heat this up until it turns into a glaze. And what you can see happening here is that it goes from the dull color that it was, and it's slowly starting to get more see-through and also thicker. Give it a good whisk. And that is your fruit tart glaze done. And now to finish my tarts, I'm going to spoon a little bit of custard into each case. Add some fruit. Pour on a little bit of my glaze. And when you're done, put in the fridge to let them set properly, and that's our fruit tarts.